Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money Channel. The manager of George Soros' fortune remains bullish on cryptocurrencies despite a recent correction. This brought to us by XRP Crypto Wolf here on Twitter. Guys, listen to this. In a recent interview with Bloomberg, Don Fitzpatrick, CEO of the Soros Management Fund, predicted that Ethereum would gain more traction compared to Bitcoin. Fitzpatrick claims that climate impact will increasingly come into focus. This could hamper the adoption of Bitcoin, which relies on the energy-guzzling proof-of-work consensus algorithm. So I guess they're banking that Ethereum is going to move off of proof-of-work sooner rather than later. Ethereum is expected to dramatically replace its power consumption by transitioning to a proof-of-stake later this year. Overall, she believes that crypto, though, is here to stay, adding that it has gone mainstream. The manager of billionaire George Soros' fund or fortune is convinced that blockchain is going to have some great applications. No duh. Interesting perspective, of course, George Soros, globalist, ties to the World Economic Forum, and how they're talking about Ethereum gaining traction. I mean, I have no doubt that these guys sprinkled their money around betting on the winners and losers. Don Fitzpatrick talks about Ethereum specifically here, but does say that cryptocurrencies in general are going to have mainstream adoption, or rather, a lot of them are going to have applications that we're going to continue to see develop down the road. She pointed out the fact that mutual fund giant Fidelity recently announced that its customers would be able to invest a portion of the retirement funds in Bitcoin. She's also confirmed that the Soros family fund owned some Bitcoin. So, nothing is off the table, despite the fact that, the market is looking a little hairy today. XRP right now trading, as of the time of this recording, 397.397, so under 40 cents. And we got a Bitcoin price right now of about, what's Bitcoin trading at? Just about $30,000, at least as of the time of this recording. So we did see that uptick. We did see a bit of a turn down in the market, but big players are still bullish on the overall crypto market. Guys, this is going to be short-term pain for long-term gain. Mike Manfield brought this to our attention with regards to TrueLayer and Ripple partner Thunes. So Thunes is integrating with TrueLayer for open banking payments. Thunes is building a borderless B2B payment infrastructure that addresses the payment needs of online retailers, marketplaces, gig and shared economy platforms, as well as fintechs. Recognizing the rapid growth of account-to-account payments, the partnership sees Thunes integrating TrueLayer's open banking platform into its platform as one of the easy-to-use payment methods available to Thunes' 100,000 merchants globally. As a result, thousands of marketplace platform clients and partners will be able to leverage open banking payments and benefit from TrueLayer's broad market coverage and industry-leading conversion rates. So here we go, another company, Thunes, who is Ripple-enabled, partnering up with TrueLayer. Payments from TrueLayer delivers a faster and more cost-effective alternative to banking transfers and bypass the traditional card networks and associated fees. They also significantly reduce the risk of fraud and eliminate chargebacks, both of which can incur significant costs for merchants. So again, another example here of where streamlining payments is happening with a Ripple-enabled company. The head of payments over there at TrueLayer, he commented, "Open banking is rapidly moving to the mainstream as more merchants adopt account-to-account payments thanks to the ability to deliver significant cost savings, enhanced security, and speed of settlement when compared to other payment methods." Of course, running on DLT technology, in this case, running on Ripple, Thunes has a track record of adopting and optimizing the latest payment options for its customers so they can focus on running their business, and that's what small to medium-sized business owners should be doing. They shouldn't be worrying about how they're getting paid. They should just work on selling and making sure they have the best product possible. Implementing open banking is the next logical step, and we believe that together we can deliver significant value to merchants across Europe through a trusted partnership. So another example here now, Thunes integrating with TrueLayer for open banking payments to help what is looking like small to medium-sized businesses. Wanted to thank Mike here for posting that. And here's one, guys, from the Wrath of Kahneman. He's watching XREX and how they're using crypto for cross-border transactions. So just a few weeks ago, we heard about that partnership with Ripple moving into Lithuania. Well, take a look at this. XREX, a Taiwanese blockchain fintech company, has chosen Lithuania as its entry point to the EU market. After recently becoming a crypto asset service provider in Lithuania, the company plans to entrust operations, AML, and other functions to its Lithuanian office. Taipei-headquartered XREX has developed a series of blockchain-driven products, including BitCheck, an online escrow service service, and XREX Exchange, the world's only crypto fiat exchange that supports both the US dollar and the Indian rupee, co-founded by cybersecurity expert Dr. Wayne Huang and serial entrepreneur Winston Cao. XREX aims to build long-lasting bridges between traditional finance and the cryptocurrency ecosystem. So that is also something to make note of. Wrath of Kahneman pointing this out, using blockchain to tackle emerging market dollar liquidity constraints. Again, just announced their Lithuanian operations, and Ripple investor SBI also invested in this company. He also pointed out this fact that I just read to you guys. It's the only fiat crypto exchange using USD and Indian rupee, or at least supporting those two fiat currencies. So depending on how big that market is, and the fact that it'll likely grow, I think more interest is being drummed up over there in India with regards to cryptocurrency. It's already been fairly popular over this last bull run, but I think we're going to start to see adoption in India with regards to cryptocurrency, not just trading, but with everything cryptocurrency related, also trading though. I think we're going to see that market expand at a high rate, and so it looks as though they're prepared. Getting into Europe through Lithuania. Also, a Ripple investor, SBI, is invested in this company. So interesting news there. Wanted to thank the Wrath of Kahneman for posting that. And I gotta say, I haven't heard much from the VeChain camp as of late. VeChain, one of those cryptocurrencies, not on the World Economic Forum's list, but another project that I think has value just because, the VET token, very efficient, similar to XRP in a lot of ways. And we're also seeing the partnerships. VeChain is a company similar to Ripple in a lot of ways, where we're already seeing massive partnerships. And now VeChain is eyeing mass adoption in Europe, guys, with its new headquarters. So apparently they just opened up a new headquarters. Hussein Kapasi, PricewaterhouseCoopers Europe blockchain lead, spoke at the Hanover Messe 2022 about VeChain technology. That's one of the largest industrial development trade fairs globally. The tweet by the user explains how Kapasi spoke about the connected supply chain at HMI 2022. Hussein said that the main focus of a connected supply chain is transparency and sustainability. He also explained how a manufacturer and retailer could embed end-to-end traceability from a supplier's end to the customer. We integrated supply chain control tower with blockchain-based traceability applications, gathering information across the value chain. Hussein also presented a live demo depicting an example. He explained how the entire process of transparency works as the product moves from supplier to end customer user. The entire demo also focuses on how the technology runs on the VeChain blockchain and how it can tackle the issue of transparency. And so VeChain has had a connection to Europe a few years back now. The foundation announced its opening of its European headquarters back in February of this year. VeChain envisions a mass adoption in Europe and tweets about Europe's hunger for more blockchain solutions. So if you guys are not familiar, VeChain is one of those supply management chains where they can trace anything from products to goods and services to medical equipment or medical applications. It also deals with medical, if my memory serves me correctly. And they can trace these products from inception all the way to end users. So it's to manage supply chain. A really good example, I think, is the counterfeiting example in China. We know there's a lot of counterfeiting, and so VeChain can protect those companies that tend to fall victim to counterfeiting scams. So like Louis Vuitton, for example, I don't know if they're partnered with them specifically, but as an example, right, we have a lot of knockoffs. So if it is an authentic Louis Vuitton product, VeChain can track that from the materials that are sourced to create the item all the way to the end user, and it's all done on the blockchain. So I can see how this would be very, very beneficial for, in this case, they're looking at Europe, but not just Europe, all around the world. They have been a very successful company. And so, yeah, just full disclosure, I'm invested in the VET token. So going to keep my eyes on that. Wanted to thank Michael for posting that. Shifting gears now, guys, to the conflict of interest, going back to the Ethereum corruption and the free pass from the SEC. Stefan Hubert brought this up. Ethereum has cost users over billions in fees. So that's the other point that I think is the elephant in the room that we're not addressing. Why would we use this system when the gas fees can get so exorbitantly expensive? That is why the SEC has given Ethereum and no other project a free pass. And it's because of this. According to Stefan Hubert, the cost of payments must remain high to fund the old incumbents' business. So this is Jay Clayton on a panel, and this guy's name I cannot remember, but I know he is invested in XRP. I know his company is listed on the World Economic Forum's website. I've even talked about him in a couple of videos that I've done over the last several years. But anyway, listen to Jay Clayton and what he says here.
This also sounds incredibly deflationary because of the costs that will be driven out of our system. Agree, disagree? Yeah. I mean if we're going from we're going from paying a percent on a retail basis, 2%, 3% to move things around to virtually nothing.
Well,
so he's talking about payment costs going from 2-3% to virtually nothing, and sounding kind of skeptical about that. Now, this gentleman here is about to respond, and since we know he's invested in XRP, I would have liked to have heard his response to that. However, the clip cuts off there. But the point I'm trying to make here with this clip, not so much what he was about to say, but the fact that these Ethereum fees are funding the old incumbents' businesses. Dave down here saying, yeah, and with them fees, them incumbents buy, you guessed it, more Ethereum. So the Ponzi scheme continues. And so Wheezy at Nerd Nation Unboxed brought up some interesting points here. More connections. Now check this out. Mike Novogratz, John Corzine, Joe Lubin, and Gary Gensler. They all worked at Goldman Sachs at around the same period in time. Joe Lubin was the VP of Technology for Private Wealth Management in 1999. Gary Gensler was a partner in the Mergers and Acquisitions Department from 79 to 99. Gensler also took heat for the timing and manner of his recusal from the CFTC's investigation of MF Global. Gensler and former MF Global CEO John Corzine, who has also served as New Jersey governor and senator, worked together at Goldman Sachs over a decade ago. So there's just some news pointing to Corzine and Gensler possibly being buddy-buddy. John Corzine, responsible for the MF Global Collapse, senior partner up until 99, and Mike Novogratz was a partner from 89 to 2000. So we're all at Goldman Sachs in and around that time, over 1999 specifically. If Gensler recused himself from MF Global due to his relationship with Corzine, he should not be in the chair position at the SEC due to the relationship mentioned. Not to mention this, Novogratz and Lubin were college roommates. We knew about that, but that's just the icing on the cake, I think. But guys, the connection goes deeper at Nerd Nation Unbox. Bringing this to us as well, Don Tapscott and his son Alex co-convened a meeting in 2016 in Muskoka, Ontario, Canada, to discuss governance of the whole blockchain ecosystem. The Muskoka Group. Who's in attendance? None other than Joe Lubin, Perry-Ann Boring, Tomakai Tillman, Jim Zemlin, the Linux Foundation, and Brian Bellendorf. And here's a picture of them, guys, all in 2016. I will link this in the description if you are interested to read further. The Hyperledger Project, among others. Don Tapscott is co-founder of the Blockchain Research Institute, which is supposed to, by the way, be an impartial institute, covering all blockchain technology, purporting to be impartial, of which they are an EEA member. BRI, together with the Koala Group, submitted a regulatory framework in April of 2018. Interesting timing there. EEA was among those who helped craft it. Was it a coincidence? You be the judge.
We believe it's time for clarity, and in particular around the issue of ICOs, or initial coin offerings. So we're asking this simple question, and we wanted with this project to address the issue of how are regulators around the world implementing frameworks which enable or impede this blockchain transformation to take hold. So that's really the focus of this second project that's dedicated to balancing public interest with innovation, regulation with change. And it takes a deep dive into the regulatory frameworks around national lines. It's created what we call a heat map of these ICOs, initial coin offerings, and compares them and explores how different regulators are thinking about categorizing blockchain-based tokens, trying to balance this protection of investors and also advancing innovation. The token's critical here because in an ICO, it's the token that's being sold. And what does the token represent? Does it represent something that really should be considered as a security and fall under securities legislation, or does it represent something else, some kind of utility or currency or asset or other?
Interesting how he differentiates that. Is it representing a security as per the ICO framework, or is it a utility, a currency, or something other? Wheezy down here continues, who is someone that's working with Koala? Joy Ito from the MIT Media Lab. Koala partners include Perkins Coie, Consensus, and MIT Media Lab. Is that a coincidence? And so here are some of the partners, the academic partners, which include a lot of universities here, but also some of the institutional partners, Perkins Coie, Consensus down here and MIT Media Labs up here for the academic partners, all just kind of lining up to demonstrate this. And guess who he was rooting for to be the next SEC head?
Let's talk about what is hopeful, which is there are a number of new policy leaders that are getting into place, like Gary Gensler, who's been picked to lead the SEC, who is not of the class of what is blockchain. He's very well versed. And there are other officials and policymakers who are increasingly reaching those roles, but with a really fantastic background. You know, like Gensler, they might have taught blockchain or crypto. He did it at MIT. How do you envision incoming leaders of regulatory agencies to really kind of address some of the things that you think are critical to this administration?
As we wrote the report, is we hope that the new administration will select people like Gensler, and we'll see how he pans out. But boy, if there's anybody who ought to understand what this is all about, it's him.
Really? I mean, I got to admit, choosing him was a good choice. Before we knew any of this, I mean, we were all talking. I mean, I'm guilty of it too. We were all thinking he was going to be a good choice for the SEC because of his experience. Well, it didn't turn out to be the case. BRI submitted a 122-page strategic report on strategy, policy, and action to the Biden-Harris administration in early 2021. Contributors included EEA and MIT Sloan prof, Irving Waldowski Berger, who worked with Gensler. So is that a coincidence? Well, we know Gary Gensler did also work at MIT. BRI and Koala worked together to craft this framework. Just listen to this.
So to do this project, we joined forces with the talented team at Koala, which stands for the Coalition of Automated Legal Applications. This was co-founded by our good friend and colleague, Primavera de Felipe.
XRP meme guy also just adding to this tweet thread here in 2016. Tapscott also did a TED Talk, How the Blockchain is Changing Money and Business. I'm not going to go over that with you guys, but I will link it in the description. And Francisco down here says Mike Novogratz's brother-in-law runs the TED Talks. So yeah, guys, the connections run deep, and a great thread here linking Don Tapscott to the Ethereum Foundation consensus being part of the corruption, favoring the SEC when this institution, the Blockchain Research Institute, purports to be an impartial organization that supports all things blockchain related. Also, just some bonus material to add on to this from Stéphane Hubert. I am convinced that after the launch of the XRP Escrow in 2017, which was December 2017, the greediest VCs like Andreessen Horowitz turned against Ripple. The Escrow has made it impossible for any of these VCs to ever hold large stakes, let alone a majority of XRP. And so you've got to remember, VC capital, they have a vested interest. They are investing millions of dollars. So they want tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars of returns on their investment. And then as soon as Ripple started the escrow, as soon as they said this XRP is going to be locked up, it's not going to be dispersed amongst you guys, this is when everything turned. It's different with Ethereum and their disguised whales. So he's tweeting out, have a good one's tweet here. I think that Andreessen Horowitz invested in Ripple in 2016 because they really thought it was a good bet, but then changed their mind in 2018. And note this astute observation here. My guess is that they understood that the JP Morgans were on Ethereum's side, so they changed their bet to Ethereum. JV down here also pointing this out. Actually, this was the astute observation that I'm talking about. That's why all of the FUD campaigns are against Ripple. They're so used to getting over on retail and holding large stakes in these projects that they forgot what legit looks like. So the FUD, that really did start after 2016, 2017. We really didn't see the fear, uncertainty, and doubt campaigns happening against Ripple and XRP at that time, because at that time, there was no escrow, and VC was perfectly happy with their investment in the company. Fast forward a few years, Ripple decides there's going to be an escrow now. VC gets shaken, and now they pivot to the Ethereum Foundation, which brings us to the mess we are in today. So some great connections here. Wanted to thank Wheezy at Nerd Nation Unboxed. If you guys aren't following him, follow him on Twitter, and all the others who contributed to this thread. Of course, Stéphane Hubert here. So did VCs get shafted by Ripple as soon as they decided to lock away XRP in escrow? An interesting theory, but I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I love hearing your comments, so put one down in the comment section, and I'll see you in the next one, guys.